I'm in physics class. I knew that you wouldn't ask. She got too much. What I'm finna do with all that? Talked to Elon last week. The way these bitches scream. Make these bitches scream. Pretty little thing.
I'm every woman's fantasy. Mama always told me I was gonna break hearts. I guess it's her fault. Stupid. Don't be mad at me.
In terms of Australia, in the early days of hip-hop, there was a lot of mimicry of the crass American use of language to denigrate women.
I'd buy that for $1.
So with that in mind,
Australia had a very distinct and original experience, and these artists, particularly migrant and Aboriginal artists, wanted to talk about their own experiences.
Well, we used to have these parties, or really underground, either out west or, kind of inner west of Sydney. People used to perform because everyone had their rap groups, and we were the only female rap group amongst them, but we weren't really taken seriously. And so we would always make it a point to go hard and to make ourselves known.
There was a community and we always encouraged each other. There was a lot of women in hip hop in my early 20s coming up in the Sydney scene. We have heaps of women emceeing.
Growing up in Sydney and being on the music scene, and I learned that just like any other community, the hip hop community can be sexist. Our language can be quite dated, and also the way we treat women. When I'm coming to a spot and I'm rapping, people are genuinely confused. People want to act like female rappers is something new. It's like, no, we've been out here.
well, my name is Roxanne. I don't say no, I just a cold rock a party and I do this show.
Women were very much a part of the early hip-hop scene. They've always been, from Roxanne Shante to MC Lyte and Queen Latifah.
Who you calling a bitch?
A lot of the early pioneers within the hip-hop movement and rap were women.
To speak about Lauryn Hill, I think she influenced every single female artist, whatever genre. She's able to tell stories and flip rhymes in such a way, as well as having double meanings behind a lot of things, and making you look at the lyrics and want to go pick up a book and study what it is she's talking about.
I wrote these words for everyone.
Listening to Lauryn Hill at the time that I did is what kept me in that message of keeping it positive and speaking for the times, speaking for the times where we are at, where people in the world are at.
Instead of what is true.
So the period of the 90s is one where Lauryn Hill is talking about issues, about political issues, about race, about motherhood and spirituality and love.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot.
But what we saw was a massive shift within hip-hop culture as hip-hop became corporate. So this means that, first of all, the diversity of what was a much larger movement shrinks to a much smaller number of artists who get played over and over. And so we get these images of women as sexual objects, as highly sexualized.
Yeah, I think for too long men have been telling women what to do with our bodies, and that's not just with hip-hop, it's everywhere. And I think it's important women are in the empowerment of controlling that narrative.
We have a responsibility for the young ones who are listening to the words and whatever we put out there. Are we putting out junk food, or are we putting out, organic, healthy food?
Well, I think we have to look at when style and dress is a choice, when it's something that artists choose to do to emphasize their agency, to emphasize their femininity, to emphasize their female power, and when it's something that's imposed on them by an industry.
I love a group called City Girls. They just got trap, nasty rap. And I love it because it's all those stereotypes about twerking, about all of the stuff that male rappers want to talk about. City Girls are taking it back.
Hip hop is a reflection of society. So we need to look at ourselves and look at how we begin and proceed to heal and change. And part of that is allowing the female voice, and not just allowing, purposefully creating spaces for women to tell their stories, for women of colour to tell their stories. Our time is now, and we're taking that time and we're taking that space, whether or not it's given to us. So, look out.